Hello again, YouTube. This is Veteran Mountain Man coming to you with a bit of a discourse today to discuss why European socialism, also known as bourgeoisie communism, is not a good idea. So I'm sure everybody has seen the Be Like Denmark memes all over the internet, and have heard people talk about how great Denmark is and how progressive and tolerant Denmark is and how Denmark's socialism works and the tax rate isn't all that high and yada, 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 yada. And as we are at March 20th and we are vastly approaching the April 15th tax filing deadline, which I know almost all of my listeners is going to get their taxes paid beforehand, I decided I wanted to actually look at Denmark's tax rates. And there's something important you've got to understand about the EU before we do this. In Europe, there are two types of taxation on individuals that are very prominent. The first is the progressive income tax, which here in the United States we have one as well, but ours is nowhere near as bad, believe me. The second is what's known as value-added taxation. Now, the value-added taxation, or VAT tax, is basically a sales tax. And each country sets this tax rate, and it applies to almost everything you could buy. Groceries, general supplies, electronics, clothing, shoes, glasses, automobiles, a new computer, a TV, a cable set box, you name it, you pay VAT on it. And I experienced this while I was in Europe on active duty. The value-added tax rate in Germany is 16%, and it's one of the lowest. Most countries in Europe have a very high VAT rate. So I did some research and came across a website called VAT Live, which is a website reporting on European VAT information. And as of 2 months ago, when the VAT was last adjusted in Denmark, the current value-added tax in Denmark is 25% on all goods and services. Now, there is an exclusion in the Denmark law for newspapers and public express trade journals. So basically, your news media, you get exempted from VAT, and everything else costs 25% more. And that money goes directly to the government to pay for things like your education, your housing, all of those lovely socialistic benefits that are required for democratic socialism to succeed. So here in the United States, what is our federal sales tax rate? Well, people, it's 0%. Zero. None. You do not pay federal sales tax. Now, the other thing that you've got in Denmark is you have an income tax system. And I am here looking at the individual income tax tables for all of Europe. And the income tax rate in Denmark is actually 56.4% of your income. So over half of your income goes directly to taxation and not to the individual worker. So while you might get government health care and you might get a place to live and all of your school is free, you make less than half of your actual earnings. And what you do make, you then turn around and spend an additional 25% on everything you purchase, just for the right to purchase it. This is the truth of democratic socialism, also known as petty bourgeoisie communism. This is what Karl Marx was talking about in his manifesto. He said you either had to go completely communist or completely capitalist, but the capitalists would continue to exploit the worker. Well, we know that capitalism doesn't actually exploit the worker. Capitalism is a mutually agreed upon contract. Taking 56.4% of my income at gunpoint because the government says I have to. That's the real crime. That's the real exploitation. So for those of you who think that money is slavery and that debt is slavery, that is true slavery. When you have to give half of everything you earn to an organization which is comprised of people who are supposed to work for you, and then when you do buy something, pay a quarter again as much just to be able to have those free things, that is when you're indebted. That is when you are enslaved. That is when you are in chains and cannot release your own life from your own servitude to the government. This is what I'm trying to stop in America. We need to tear down the progressive income tax system. We need to reduce government spending so that there are not entitlement programs. We need to return to the concept of small community, small government, and laissez-faire, which is where the government leaves you the hell alone and allows you to live your life. Because all government money comes with strings, and all centralized planning fails. Well, I will be including links to the Taxation Report websites so that you can also look up other European countries, because there are quite a bit of them, and many of them have different tax rates. I will also include my link down below. Please visit me at minds.com/veteranmountainman to talk to me about this or any other topic you want, or to recommend topics you'd like to hear me talk about. Also, if you like what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe, and feel free to comment down below as I respond to comments as regularly as I can. Thank you all again, and have a nice day.